All right, so next we're going to be covering area. So area is the number of square units enclosed in a figure. The area of a figure is expressed in square units such as millimeters squared, centimeters squared, inches squared, feet squared, etc. So these are like the little boxes. And so you kind of see how many tiny little boxes you can fill up the triangles or whatever shape you have. Okay, so the area of a triangle, this is our formula. We take 1/2 and we multiply it times our base and our height. Now your height of your triangle always has to make a right angle with the base. So if you see here, here's my base and here's my height. And then they show you specifically that the right angle is right here. So if you don't see a right angle, then that is probably not your height. So you just need to be careful with that. Here's an example of a right triangle where the two legs make a right angle. And then here's an example where your height is outside of your triangle because it has to make a right angle with the base, and that's okay for that to happen as long as you see the right angle. So here it says find the area of the following figures. So they give us 3 numbers and it's your job to identify which one is the base and the height. So we look for this right angle. That means your base is 8 and your height is 6. This is my base, this is my height. So we're going to plug it into our area formula. So 1/2, our base is 8 and our height is 6. So area equals, we go ahead and multiply all of this. We can put it in our calculator. You can do mental math. So 1/2 of 8 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. And our units here are centimeters. And because it's area, it is to the second degree, second dimension. Okay, let's look at the next one. Here we have 31 is our height. And our base is 25. These are the two that make this right angle. So area equals 1/2 base times height. So my base is 25 and my height is 31. So we go ahead and plug that in our calculators, and that gives us 155 centimeters squared. Oh wait, sorry, that is not what it gives you. I put in the calculator wrong. It's 387.5. Let's go ahead and fix that. 387.5. All right. The next one. So here's an example where our height is outside of the triangle. So this 9 is our height because it makes a right angle with our base. My base is 17, so we're going to do 1/2 times our base, which is 17, times our height, which is 9. So let's see. That gives us 17 times 9 divided by 2, 76.5 feet squared. And the last example like this, it says find the height of the triangle if its area is 192. So now we're working a little bit backwards. So we know that the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, using the information that they give us, they tell us that they want us to find the height. So we're looking for h of the triangle if it's area. So they tell us that the area is 192. So instead of a, we are going to plug in 192 equals height. This is 1/2 times, and then our base here, looking off of this picture, sorry, the quality is kind of bad, but our base is 24. Okay, so then from there, we're going to go ahead and get 1/2 of 24. So we know 1/2 of 24 is 12. So I'm going to write here 12 times the height equals 192. And then we divide both sides by 12 to solve for the height. This cancels, and we get h equals 192 divided by 12 is 60. And then we look for our units. So our units here are centimeters, and this isn't squared because it's not the area. What we found was the height of our triangle. Okay. What is the area in square feet of the shape below? Express your answer as a fraction in simplest form. So we're going to use our formula. Area equals 1/2 base times height. So this is my base and this is my height because they make a right angle. So area equals 1/2 times 1/6 times 1/3. Okay, so if you do not remember how to multiply fractions, I'm going to remind you today, you multiply all the top numbers. So 1 times 1 gives you 1. That's what goes on the top. On the bottom, you multiply 2 times 6 is 12, times 3 is 36, and then we write centimeters squared. And we cannot reduce this fraction. That's as good as it gets. Okay, the next one. It says the area of the triangle below is 1 out of 50 square inches. What is the length of the base? Express your answer as a fraction in simplest form. So this one we're working a little backwards like we were earlier. So area equals 1/2 base times height. And then from there, we are going to, let's see, we're looking for, they tell us what is the base. So the base we don't know, that's what we're looking for. So we're gonna leave it as B. They tell us that the area is equal to 1/50. So here I'm gonna put 1/50 equals, and then by the picture, we can see that the height is 1/5. So instead of H, I'm going to put 1/5. And then the 1/2, I'm just going to bring it down. And then we will start solving. So real quick, I'm going to multiply the 1/2 times the 1/5, and that is going to give me 1 out of 10 times B. And then over here, it stays as 1/50. Then to cancel out the 1/10, you have to multiply by what we call the reciprocal. So we multiply times 10/1. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So we put 10/1. And so here the 1's cancel, the 10's cancel, and our base is all we have on the right side. On the left side, remember when you multiply fractions, you multiply 10 times 1 is 10, and 1 times 50 is 50. And this one we can reduce. So 10 out of 50 is going to give us 1/5. Our units here are inches, and it's not squared because this is not the area, this is the base. All right, next we're moving on to the area of circles. So here's our formula for area of circles. It's pi r squared. There is not a formula if they give you the diameter, so you just have to work with radius. So here it says round to the nearest tenth. So if my area is equal to pi r squared, based off of the photo, we can see that our radius is 5.4. So we go ahead and plug this into our calculators exactly the way we see it. And we are rounding to the nearest tenth. So this is going to give us 91.6. And then our units are centimeters, and it's squared because we are doing area. We're in the second dimension. Okay, the next one, number 8, round to the nearest tenth. So we're going to use the same formula. Area equals pi r squared. So we're going to need the radius, but they give us the diameter. So if the diameter is 14, that means that my radius is going to be 7. So 7 squared times pi, we plug that into our calculator since we're rounding to the nearest tenth, and that's going to give us 153.9. Our units here are miles squared. All right, next one. Okay, it says here the radius of a circle is 2 centimeters. Find its area in terms of pi. So this time we're leaving it in terms of pi. So we have the area equals pi r squared. They tell us here that the radius is 2. So we write it as area equals pi 2 squared. Well, 2 squared gives us 4. So we write it as a coefficient of pi. We write it in front of pi. And then our units here are centimeters squared. And that's it. Okay, the next one. The diameter of a circle is 2 centimeters. Find its area in terms of pi. So area equals pi r squared. They don't give us the area, they give us the radius, they give us the diameter. So if the diameter is 2, that means the radius is 1. So we plug it into the formula, pi 1 squared. 1 times 1 just gives us 1, so area equals 1 pi. Now we don't have to put the 1 right here in front because it is invisible, okay? We just know that it is 1 pi. So pi, and then our units are centimeters squared. Alrighty. The next section, area of trapezoid. So the area of trapezoids is 1/2. You add your two bases, base 1 plus base 2. Now, it doesn't matter which one you use first, as long as you add them together. And then you multiply it by the height. Now, remember, it says the base and the height must form a 90-degree angle. So it has to make a right angle. That's what you're looking for, just like you would in a triangle. So here it says, find the area of the following figures. So for number 11, we're going to use the formula for a trapezoid. So area equals 1/2. You add your bases together, and then you multiply times the height. So if we look here, our height is 18. So instead of h, I am going to put an 18, and then our two bases, one is 27 and the other is 36. So you can put all of this in your calculator. I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. 27 plus 36 times 18, and you take half of that, and that gives us 567. Our units here are millimeters squared. The next one says, in a trapezoid with the area of 5 feet squared, a height of 2, and base 1 of 1 foot, find B2. So now we're working a little bit backwards. I'm going to have to write the formula first. We add our bases together and multiply times the height. So if you see here, they tell us the area is 5. So instead of A, I'm going to write a 5. The 1/2 is going to stay the same. They tell us that B1 is equal to 1 foot. So 1 plus, they want us to find B2. We don't know what B2 is, so it's going to stay as B2 times the height. The height here, they tell us is 2 feet. So instead of H, I'm going to put a 2. Okay. So first, we're going to go ahead and multiply 1/2 times 2. And half of 2 we know is 1. And then it's going to be times 1 plus B2. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead, since the 1 is being multiplied times this, that's what it means, multiplication here. I'm going to do the opposite and divide both sides by 1. And that gives me 5 equals 1 plus B2. So I'm just left with the part inside the parentheses. Then our last step is to move over the 1. So we're going to go ahead and subtract the 1 from both sides. And 5 minus 1 gives us 4. So this cancels. And that means our second base is equal to 4. So B2 equals 4. Let me go ahead and check what units we have here. It is feet. So 4 feet. And that's it. Alrighty.